for inefficiency or lack of delivery, but is simply the circle of the career of politicians. I therefore harbor no ill feelings or grudge. Honorable Speaker, lastly but not the least, I wish to appreciate my able staff that were drawn from all over the nation. I had incapable members of staff from Nyeri, Laikipia, Kisii, Nyanza, Garissa, among many other counties. I wish them all the best, and I will forever remain indebted for the support they accorded to me the last 7 years. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, allow me to inform my brother, Honorable Kimunya, that during the transition period, he is also free to consult me on anything. I indeed look forward to being of assistance to him as he settles into his new position. It's not my wish to let him grapple in darkness. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank all the members of Parliament, those who are in the 11th Parliament, who are here, and those who are outside, and those who are in the 12th Parliament, for the invaluable support they gave me during my tenure, and I will always be appreciative of the support they gave me. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the various directorates in Parliament, the Director of Legal Service and her staff, the Director of Budget Office and her staff, the Director of Legislative and Procedure, and the Director General. All these together, I want to thank them for the support they gave to my office. Let me say this prayer that is found in Islam, that there's no storm that God won't carry you through. There's no bridge that God won't help you cross. There's no battle that God won't help you win. Trust God and never give up. Amen. Honorable Speaker, finally, and before I retreat to the backbench, to serve the great people of Garissa Township, who elected me 3 times in 3 different political parties. ODM brought me to this house, and I want to thank that party. It is the party that elected me into politics. And in 2013, they elected me under the United Republican Party. And in 2017, they elected me under the Jubilee Party. That alone shows that the people of Garissa Township elect the person, not the party. And they elect the person because of nothing but service delivery. And I'm sure, Mr. Speaker, as senior backbench, when I put my card, you'll give me a fair opportunity. You'll give me a fair opportunity as a ranking member to ask questions, to file statements, to file petitions, to join those who are singing during the VAT of 2018, and to join any other group who will be agitated on behalf of the people of Kenya. Speaker, when that comes, I want every member to count on me, because when you are the leader of majority, there are a number of things, and I'm sure my honorable colleague, the leader of minority himself, there are a number of things that you cannot do. But I think the remaining 2 years will help me get so many friends at the backbench. So if you see me with a statement, not only on behalf of the people of Garissa Township, but on behalf of the people of Kenya, you see me with a question, you see me interrogating the executive, and I am sure I am up to the task to exercise the oversight, the representation, the budget making, and the legislative powers given to me by the Constitution on behalf of the people of Garissa Township. I want to tell the people of Garissa Township that I will remain the first occupant of the leader of majority office, and I'm sure maybe the longest, for now the longest. In 2013, there were many majority leaders, there were many minority leaders, but I happen to be the longest. 7 years is not a short period. And I am sure I wish those who will come after me, including Honorable Kimunya, that today you will find an office that has the necessary infrastructure, an office that has the capacity, an office that has the linkage with all arms of government. I want to thank, Mr. Speaker, if you allow me, finally, the Office of the Attorney General, the State Law Office, both the former AG, Professor Gidi Mugai, who I've worked very closely with, and the current AG, former Court of Appeal Judge Kihara. I want to thank all the cabinet ministers and principal secretaries, and those who are in the executive and in the judiciary, who in the 7 years, we worked together to make sure that their issues and the issues of the executive has been brought to the floor of the House. Finally, Mr. Speaker, as I retreat to the backbench, allow me to hand over this file to the incoming leader of majority as his starter pack. It includes, among other things, a brief dealing with the pending business in the House and the majority party business that originated in this House, but is now pending in the Senate. The pending business in the pack includes bills by the majority party, which is from the executive, bills of committees and private members, motions, sessional papers, treaties, among other things. I hope that this symbolic handover of the House, Mr. Speaker, this includes my handing over letter, and I want to make it on record and be part of the record of the Hansard that I am handing over bills undergoing mediation, bills passed by the National Assembly and pending in the Senate, bills awaiting second reading, bills awaiting first reading, bills awaiting processing for publication, bills which have been withdrawn, pending treaties, protocols, and agreements, sessional papers, private members' bills, and any other business. If you allow me, Mr. Speaker, as I take my seat as a backbencher, let me hand over this file to Honorable Kimunya and ask him to come and take the seat that I have warmed for the last 7 years, and I wish him all the best.
Well, very well. As you exchange the seats, I, of course, again, you've already been thanked by the speakership for the diligent work that you've done for the last 7 years, but most importantly, for the magnanimity in your handing over. In many cases, people who do this kind of handover would probably even not be available to do such, so it is good. Probably it's because of the fact that you are a battle-hardened politician, just like the gentleman who is also taking over from you. I'm also informed that he's also equally battle-hardened. So thank you again. Thank you once more, Honorable Aden Duale. You did your work and did it well. We wish well to the new majority leader. And I'm trying to get a sign from him. Maybe he would want to probably have an acceptance speech. If he does, that would be fine. If you want to do it later, I can see already you have a handful. You probably would be having quite a lot of work this morning as you assume the new office. So would you want to say something, Honorable Kimunya? Honorable Dr. Kimunya.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me at the outset to first of all, thank the party leader of the Jubilee Coalition, His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, for nominating me and the party members for endorsing me to take over this challenging office. I know it's challenging because in the 10th Parliament, I had the responsibility as Deputy Leader of Government Business, but technically became the de facto Leader of Government Business for the last 3 years of the 10th Parliament. So I know the drill and what it means, and that it really takes you being seated here and takes away from family, takes you away from constituents, takes away from basically the other things you want to do. And it's against that background that I want to recognize the sacrifice and effort that my predecessor, the Honorable Aden Duale, has put in this office for the last 7 years. I've been here in the 12th Parliament since 2017, and I've been watching him. We've worked together. Fortunately, we are good friends. We've worked together through the House Business Committee and even here in Parliament. And I've seen the amount of time he's actually put in being in this House, being in the committees, constantly on the phone, consulting, being the linkage with the ministries, sorting out the issues between the committees and the ministries. So I've been learning from him without necessarily thinking that I'll eventually take over from him. So I want to really thank for the lessons given so far. And you have promised, obviously, to be there for me, because there's certainly, obviously, some things that you gain. 7 years experience is not anything. You cannot do something for 7 years and not learn some intricate ways of getting things done. So I really want to have on record my personal appreciation, and His Excellency President also did express the party appreciation, and would like to have it on the Hansard, the appreciation of the Jubilee Coalition for the work that the Honorable Duale has put over the last 7 years. And I know the people of Garissa Town constituency may not have appreciated what you do in the House, because it's like, how does it translate to issues on the ground? Now, perhaps within the next 2 or so years, it will give you also an opportunity to get back to them and they see on the ground and get to understand what you've been doing for the last 7 years. I did 10 years, Mr. Speaker, if you recall, in cabinet. The people of Kipipiri at some point even decided, now what's this man doing? He's out there in the ministry. We want an MP on the ground. And they made a change in 2013. But I took it very positively, and I said, it's a nice break for me to also reconsider what I need to do for my personal development. And I went back to school. And, I think that was the best investment I made of that period when I was away. So at times, nature provides you with an opportunity to redefine yourself. And I want to ask my friend, Duale, to look at it from that perspective. There are some crucibles, or so-called crucibles in leadership, that comes and it changes your life, and you start thinking, yes, I've been doing this, but is there something else I probably should be doing? And gives you time to start preparing. So I would like to really ask that we continue working together. We bring the unification of this country together, the unity of our party, working together with our colleagues from the minority party for the better good of the Kenyan people, and to at least also shape up this 12th Parliament so that we can say that the investment over the last 7 years plus what we're going to invest now, will make the 13th Parliament look at the 12th Parliament as the one that really set the standard for the future. So, Mr. Speaker, I don't want to continue saying a lot. I could get emotional, but it's a good thing to do, and I'm also happy that we've actually done it through this formal process, this being the first handover of the majority party, and I hope that we will have set the pace for what will happen in the future. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and once again, thank you, Honorable Duale, for what you've done and the continued friendship we're going to enjoy as we work together for the Kenyan people.
Okay, so having said that, I want to give only a member or maximum two, and at maximum it will be two, very briefly. Maybe the leader of minority party to advise you on the kind of shoe type you need to wear. And I realize that actually, you know, between you and the Honorable Duale, you are almost the same in terms of the number of years you've served in this parliament. The only advantage on your part is also you served the other side of parliament, I mean outside, when Kipipiri asked you to take a brief break, which probably Honorable Duale has not tested. So you probably are also tested in the fact that you can survive the other terrain outside. Now, so I'll give only the minority leader and probably the minority whip, but if it is going to be brief. Let me start with the minority whip so that we end with you, Honorable Badi. No, we will definitely not open it. I will probably give an extra few members if we can agree that will be brief, very brief. And by the way, the members who are saying yes are probably not going to be lucky enough to have the opportunity. So I will please be very brief, Honorable Minority Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, from the onset, I want to congratulate the new majority leader for assuming the new role as the new majority leader of this House, Mr. Speaker. And at the same time, also thank the former majority leader, Honorable Aden Duale, for the good job he has done in this House, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I was in the 11th Parliament when Honorable Majority Leader was the majority leader then, and that Parliament was more difficult than this one, Mr. Speaker. This one was under this framework of the handshake, the temperatures a bit went down. But in the last Parliament, the majority leader really did his job, Mr. Speaker. As a court coalition by then, we had to plan very well to defeat Duale in this House, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to tell my brother Duale that it is this, as former President Moi said, he in courts in Kiswahili, hizi watu cheo ni za wananchi, sisi ni wadhamini wao. You serve when you have been given an opportunity, you serve and you leave when the opportunity ends. But also I want to tell the new majority leader that we will work with you. I know you have all the experience. I know you have been a leader of the government business in the 10th Parliament, and I know you're equal to the task. We will work together as a parliament and we see how we can advance, as you said, the agenda of the people of Kenya. I want to tell them politically that this work of politics is very difficult, majority leader. And when the going gets tough, don't die. Remain strong. Don't say, I would rather die than resign. Please, don't die, just stay alive. We shall support you. Yeah, because dying is the worst thing that can happen. And to the former majority leader, politically, my brother, when you see us following Baba like cows, we are fearing consequences like the one you are facing now. So politics is like that, Mukova. It is today, if you go against the wishes of the people who own parties, the people who lead this country, the consequence is a good experience for me. I will be more loyal than I was now. I will sing Baba throughout. Thank you so much. Asante sana.
Minority leader. Then I'll give a few members, just a few members, but please take a minute each.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first of all, let me start by, on behalf of the minority side, I know my whip has spoken, also congratulate Amos Kimunya, the Honorable MP for Kipipiri, who is the incoming majority leader. I have no doubt in my mind that Amos Kimunya will not disappoint in this position because first, he has experience that has been talked about. This is serving his third term in Parliament. But more importantly, he has also served in two positions that are very critical for this position that is now going to hold. One, that he was deputy leader of government business in the 10th Parliament, I remember, and which, of course, put him in a position where he was like serving as the leader of government business because the vice president was the leader of government business. Mr. Speaker, he has also been a member of the House Business Committee in this 12th Parliament, and myself, Honorable Duale, and we have served in that committee. And I think he's one of those MPs who attend religiously the House Business Committee without fail. But Mr. Speaker, having said that, I also want to add that he's an accountant like myself, and we know ourselves as accountants that we are very thorough people, and all round. If you want an all-round person, you get it in an accountant. We are even lawyers, actually. But, Mr. Speaker, allow me to say the following about my good friend, Honorable Duale, who is the outgoing leader of majority party. From 2011, we came with the Honorable Duale to Parliament the same day. We were sworn in the same day in the same party, and we were planning together, actually, even including electing Marende as the Speaker. But from 2011, Mr. Speaker, we have not been in the same political side, on the same political side with Duale. He actually chose to support the president and the deputy president, and as everybody knows, I have stuck and I continue to stick with the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. And so we were in different camps. But one thing is clear, that at personal level, we have been very good friends with Duale from 2011 to date, and possibly in the future. I don't see us breaking up our personal friendship. And so I know Duale not just as a leader of the majority leader, but as my personal friend. Sometimes people couldn't understand how come we relate so well at personal level, but when it comes to work, we disagree properly. But that was the nature of work, Mr. Speaker. But in terms of delivery, I don't think it is in doubt. Honorable Duale, I think you've done your bit, and you've done it well. I don't think anyone would have done better than you, especially as the first leader of a majority in this country, at a time when it was not easy. As I conclude, Mr. Speaker, Duale weathered a lot of storms as the majority leader. And that time in the 11th Parliament, sometimes it was really annoying us. Remember the Security Laws Amendment Bill, Mr. Speaker? I didn't fight with him physically, but we fought with words. I only didn't fight him physically because he was my friend, personal level. But if he was not my friend that day, I think I would have looked for a way of hitting him and probably would have also retaliated. But what I'm saying in a nutshell is that he had the zeal, he had the determination, he had the willingness to deliver for his party. And I think, Honorable Duale, you've been lucky. Serving 7 years in a volatile political environment like ours is not easy. Lastly, there's one thing I want to say about him, Mr. Speaker. That is a very honest person. If something is not possible, he tells you, and you can disagree. I remember in the 11th Parliament, I wanted to be chairman of PAC, and the Jubilee side were not comfortable with me. I asked him why, because I had been whispered to. Today I will tell you who told me. It was Nelson Gaishuhe, who whispered to me that you didn't want me to be PAC chair. And I confronted him as my friend. And he told me, Mbadi, if you want to be chair of PAC, talk to William. That was the deputy president. And I told him I don't even have his number. How do I talk to him? And he gave me his number, Mr. Speaker. And I called the deputy president. He didn't pick. But when I sent him a text, I think he didn't know it was me. He called me immediately, 3 minutes after I'd sent the text, and asked me, "Buddy, where are you?" I said, "I'm here in Parliament." And we talked. I told him I want to be park chair, and I'm told you, if I don't talk to you, I'll not be park chair. Mr. Speaker, the rest is history, but we spoke. I'm happy that Duale told me that Jubilee is very uncomfortable with me being park chair. And of course, I didn't become park chair. And that is politics. Who would want someone who is not going to further their political agenda in a particular seat? So, Honorable Duale, I wish you well. I wish you well in your service for the people of Garissa Town constituency. And at personal level, we'll still remain friends. As to your political leaning, I don't know where you're going to stand, because a lot of changes and dynamics are coming along the way. Going to 2022, I can already see it. And there's going to be political groupings. There's going to be a tsunami. I don't know who it is going to sweep. Whether it's going to sweep you or me, I don't know. Maybe we might find ourselves in the same group, but I will tell you, if that group does not have Raila Odinga, I will not be in that group. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I wish everyone well.
Now, honorable members, you are taking too long, and therefore it's becoming difficult for me to give many members. So I'm going to give Honorable Shamala for purposes of gender.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise and I thank Honorable Duale for his excellent leadership. I personally interacted with Honorable Duale last year during the ICPD conference in Nairobi. He came across as a man who is steadfast, a man with values that are grounded in his deep religious beliefs. Our ideals, our conservative values converged, and we traveled to Arizona in early January, where he was invited by conservative, Republican-leaning Americans to a conference to discuss the values that we both share. And for this, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, Honorable Duale. Dr. Amos Kimunya, I congratulate you. And as Honorable Duale has said, everyone wears their shoes differently. Do it your way, but make sure you make it the best.
Okay. Now, I'll give, let me go to the list again. And Honorable Atandi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker,
I'll just go by this list, honorable members, because there are already too many requests anyway.
for giving me this opportunity. And I want to start by congratulating Honorable Kimunya for the appointment. And would like to say that Honorable Kimunya is obviously very experienced, and I'm sure he's going to use his experience to further the interests of the people of Kenya.
Just a minute, Honorable Atandi, as you continue. I want to ask the Sergeant at Arms to release members to come and sit on these chairs. Number 327, 270, 238, 170, 272, 162, 165, 258, 224, 315, 189, 192, 130, 208, 311, 204, 184, 229, and 320. So you can usher members quickly so that members like Honorable Dr. Pukose doesn't need to put his hands up from where he is. So proceed, Honorable Atandi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, I also would like for the good job he's done for this Parliament. I think if there is any leader who has been consistent on the independence of National Assembly, I think Duale has done a very good job. The only thing that I think all of us agree is that Duale is being removed, not because of underperformance, but I think it's because of the politics. He did not read the politics of the future very fast. When we were saying that the country needs to come together, I think he stayed behind. But, Honorable Speaker, we need to thank Honorable Duale for the fight that he has put, especially on the welfare of members of Parliament. And if there's anyone who believes in the members of Parliament in this House, it's Honorable Duale. And there's a big difference between Honorable Duale on the microphone and Honorable Duale as a person. I think I related very well with Honorable Duale on matters of this House. Personally, and he does not care whether you belong to which political party. I think such a leader is very rare to come by. And yesterday when Honorable Kimunya was appointed, I was online and I saw the kind of comments that came across. And I want to urge him to go online and read.
Your minute is over now. 100% finalized.
Chair, go and read what the people are saying about him. And that is going to help him to execute the functions of this office competently. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Sankok, but 1 minute. 1 minute. There is a reason to increase the number of members speaking.
Thank you.
But 1 minute. In fact, I want them time now. 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, let me start by congratulating Honorable Dr. Amos Kimunya, but at the same time wishing very well His Excellency Aden Duale, who have been our political father, especially some of us who are new-timers. I think today we will remain to be orphans. The only solace we have is that Honorable Duale was not released because of incompetence, but because of political intrigue. And what I have learned today is that loyalty to the party chair and the party leader is very important. Honorable Speaker, if today you take my blood sample, you will not get COVID-19. You will get red blood cells being Uhuru, white blood cells being Kenyatta. And Honorable Speaker, platelets probably, and minerals being Tujo, Ruto, and others. Honorable Speaker, but the blood also normally have some what you call, Dr. Kose will tell you that there is normal flora, bacteria that are normally in.
Your time is over. Honorable Mbui.
Thank you, Speaker. My congratulations to the new leader of majority. And this man Duale, Mr. Speaker, many people don't know. I went to school with him in Moi Forces Academy. Actually, we were classmates for 2 years, Form 5 and Form 6. And Mr. Speaker, the passion that people see with Duale today hasn't started when he became a member of parliament. I remember even when we were in school, Mr. Speaker, we had these debating clubs, and one person tried to make a joke one day and said something about the malnourished member for Northeastern. Mr. Speaker, there was almost hell to pay because Aden Duale debated, throughout that period. And Mr. Speaker, I want to say that when we met in Moi Forces, he's one of those very humorous people because he says that he came to Moi Forces. I went to Moi Forces because my grandfather was Chief of General Staff. He came there to look for Mohammed's daughter. He came out of there with a wife. I came out of there. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this is one great man, and he's done a great job for this nation. And we congratulate you for the work you've done, Aden Duale, and we respect you for it.
I'm looking for that member at the very end. Yes, that's yourself. No, at the very end. Okay, proceed.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for giving this opportunity. First and foremost, I want to congratulate the incoming majority leader, Honorable Amos Kimunya, for his appointment yesterday. Equally, I want to thank Honorable Aden Duale for having done exemplary work to this House. I'm a first-timer, but certainly I've been following since his election and selection as majority leader in 2013. Honorable Duale, you did a good job. You've done us proud in this House and outside. And even the party leader said that you are not being removed because of incompetence, but rather other dynamics. So as you serve with us in the backbench, keep your head high, and we wish you all the best. For Honorable Amos Kimunya, we welcome you to the new position. I know you also equal to the task, but I'm sure the shoes around Duale might be too large for you, but
okay. Honorable Wanyonyi. Honorable Wanyonyi, I had given you the mic. What happened? No, I'm talking about Honorable Team Wanyonyi, member for Westlands.
Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I also want to congratulate Honorable Amos Kimunya for the new position that he has taken, and also to thank Honorable Duale for the exemplary work that he has done as the leader of majority since we joined the parliament in the last parliament, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, one may easily dismiss this as a Jubilee affair, and not affecting the opposition. But Mr. Speaker, this affects this House, its Parliament, as members of Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, it will not go without saying that I think whatever is happening in the political arena, Mr. Speaker, I think the institution of Parliament is seriously being affected because the executive, the invasion of Parliament by the executive.
What happened? I gave you a minute. So I'm only giving you 10 seconds to wind up what you had developed, Honorable, because that's the time which we took looking for you. Honorable Anyonyi, you have something to... Yes, proceed. Proceed for some 10 seconds. And members, the reason why I'm giving you an opportunity also...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I was saying that the invasion of Parliament by the executive is weakening the institution of Parliament. And I believe that as Parliament is an independent arm of government, that we need to assert ourselves as much as the political parties are also expressing themselves. But we must, as a House, speak with one voice, because our division is what is driving the executive to drive us, and has weakened the Parliament. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Honorable Bukose, then I'll come this way. I'll still give a few members, because there is also some consultation going on the finance bill. So I'll give you members, but 1 minute strictly.
Relax.
Bukose, proceed. 1 minute.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Duale for the good work he did. He has been removed not because he's not performed well. He's been removed in what we call Asande Apunda Nimateke. Honorable Speaker, has Honorable Duale and the rest of us who have been de-whipped, it's not because of underperformance. It's because people thought that these are leaning towards the Deputy President.
What's your point of order, Deputy Minority Leader?
Speaker, I've heard my good friend, the Honorable Robert Bukose, say that he's mixed languages, and he said something about Asante Apunda. Isn't that derogatory, Mr. Speaker, considering he's talking about his own?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Just to make it easy, Honorable Bukose, please let us not go to the sides. Let's concentrate on the opportunity I've given you and, of course, do what is necessary and right. Proceed,
thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we campaigned for Jubilee in the last elections, and we delivered. And what we expected is not people who are coming from outside to come and kick us out of Jubilee, but we shall meet with the Wananchi in the field so that the people will decide. Honorable Speaker, thank you, Honorable Duale, for the good work, and welcome to the side that supports the Deputy President, William Ruto, and we are there.
Okay, let's, members, I'm finding it difficult because I am picking you from the intervention slots. I think very soon we should start to be... Now, that member there, it was not you, but proceed. It was the member behind you. That must have been Ogutu. Or who? Proceed anyway. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. May I take this opportunity to thank Honorable Duale for the much work he has done and the way he has maintained us as first termers in the Parliament, because actually he has guided us the way it is supposed, and we congratulate him because in despite of our failures, he has led us as it was. He has really proved himself a great man who has a lot of future ahead of him, and he has shown that in despite of the pressure upon his shoulders, he can deliver, and he has really delivered on behalf of the Jubilee government. We wish him well, and the future is for Honorable Duale. Okay. To Honorable Kimunya, we wish him the best. He has been there before, and we expect much from him. We expect to see what he used to deliver during the time of President Kibaki at this time to make
Jimmy Nuru Angwenyi. That is, members, you know, it's difficult to balance. So please, it's not that we'll give everybody. Honorable Jimmy Angwenyi, and then I'll come this direction. By the way, honorable members, I'm sure you might be aware that Honorable Jimmy Angwenyi is the deputy majority leader. So he has worked with Honorable Duale and of course he will be working with Honorable Kimunya. Honorable Jimmy, you have the floor. There is a problem with your mic, Honorable Jimmy. Would you want to come to the... So Jimmy, Honorable Jimmy Angwenyi, please stay there. Let me give another member in the meantime as I locate your seat. And that will be Honorable Kavinga. Yes. Members, you will get some of you will get the opportunity, others may not.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I take this opportunity to welcome and congratulate the incoming Leader of Majority, Honorable Kimunya. I've interacted with him to an extent of him being my mentor in parliamentary work, Mr. Speaker, and for that reason I want to congratulate him and welcome him to this challenging position. Mr. Speaker, let me also congratulate Honorable Duale for the good work that he has done in the past 3 years that I've been in this parliament, Mr. Speaker. As a newcomer, I interacted with him a lot, and the people of Mwea will forever be grateful for the way we worked with him in the repeal of Cap 347 that has been a problem to the people of Mwea in coming up with a new irrigation bill. We shall forever remember him for that, Mr. Speaker, and I will continue to consult him.
I am finding it very difficult to give you. There is a problem with where you are sitting, so you please come to the dispatch.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me a chance to welcome my new boss, Honorable Kimunya, and also thank my former boss, Honorable Duale. Duale has worked with me very closely and very well the last 3 years that I've been his deputy. He has worked very well on the issues of government on this floor and even outside this floor. He has served the country very well, and we thank him. He has handed over to Kimunya. Maybe the next time, Kimunya will hand over to him, maybe a ministerial position as Minister for Finance, where Kimunya was. Maybe he will get that job also in the future, you never know. And we'll assume that Kimunya was handed over to him if he gets that job. He has worked very well, and I'm sure he will continue working for this country in his new position as a member of parliament. Without being a majority leader, you see this country the way he has been serving it for the last 8 years.
Okay, Jimmy.
And I welcome Mr. Honorable Kimunya to work with us all, work with all members of parliament the way Duale used to work, so that we can achieve that which our people are sent here to achieve. Thank you.
Honorable Wamalwa, but 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the Bible, in the book of Ecclesiastes, the Bible says there's time for everything. There's time to enter and there's time to exit. Mr. Speaker, as Honorable Duale is exiting, he leaves behind a strong legacy of hard work, Mr. Speaker. In the last parliament, Mr. Speaker, the temperatures were very high because there was no handshake. I remember we were on this side and it was the other side. And all through he scored, Mr. Speaker. He did good work. He is going not because of incompetence, Mr. Speaker, but because of politics. But I want to tell you, Mr. Duale, as you move forward, the big door is going to be opened. The rejected stone became the cornerstone. And I want to tell you, in 2022, you are going to play a critical role. I left, Mr. Speaker, as you can see, I've put on some weight. And whoever is coming in, we are telling him, congratulations, but please, don't die and don't resign. We'll be here to support him. We'll support His Excellency and move forward to unite this country. I thank you.
Honorable Kanini Kega.
Thank you, Speaker. And I want to congratulate the incoming Majority Leader, Dr. Amos Muhega Kimunya, whom I have known for a long time. We did masters together. I know, of course, the responsibility comes with a lot of challenges, and I know he is up to the task. To the first Majority Leader, who, unknown to many, has been my good friend, and maybe I was seen to be the face that was behind the collection of signatures. And I just want to say that it was not personal. I have no vendetta against Aden Duale. I only appeared to be the face. There are over 120-something members who would have paid their signatures. But I want to tell Aden Duale that when the history will be written about Parliament, and especially the 11th Parliament, of course he will have a huge chapter about himself. He should know that very well, that if one door closes, another one opens. And he should move with his head high.
Honorable Kato Metito. You have the mic, Honorable Kato.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first I congratulate Honorable Kimunya, the incoming Majority Leader. I have served with him in cabinet for those 10 years. When he was the Deputy Leader of Government Business, I was the Interior Minister. So I know he's up to the task. Mr. Speaker, we cannot say even in the whole week what Honorable Duale has done in the last 7 years. I was his Majority Chief Whip. And I can say, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Duale was in this house many, many times more than the time he spent in Garissa Town constituency, Mr. Speaker. And there is no single day that one will read about Parliament without reading about Honorable Aden Duale, Mr. Speaker. He stood very firm. He pushed the government business even when it was very difficult time. We wish you all the best, my good friend. God bless you. God bless the people of...
The member at the very end with the white cap. Members, you can see I'm referring you in that manner because I really wish we could have placed our names on the face mask.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand to congratulate the new incoming Leader of Majority and wish him the best in his endeavor. And on the other hand, I sincerely say that Duale, I've known him for a long time, before even he became an MP, a performer, even outside Parliament. Most people have talked about his performance in Parliament, but I've known him outside Parliament before he became an MP, and he has always been a performer. And maybe this is a blessing in disguise, Honorable Duale. Take it as a blessing in disguise. Some of us who are newcomers and who wanted a lot of your time for coaching and mentoring and putting our toes properly.
Is over. That particular member who's putting his hand up there, and I'm not saying I'll use that one, but you come to the dispatch box. I cannot. Please, come to the dispatch box. Honorable members, unfortunately, I cannot be able to, even if, well, it's only now when he puts out his face mask, the chair of PAC, that's when I could see, but I can't notice you unless you put your card here. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Kimunya, congratulations to your appointment. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Duale, the immediate former Majority Leader, has been the patriarch of the members of Parliament from Northern Region and the Muslim community. Last night, I was privileged, since yesterday, I want to say, I was privileged to have been called by over 27 imams supporting that Honorable Duale has been an icon in this Parliament and has been an icon in this country. Yes. He has delivered, and I'm sure he will deliver for the people of Garissa, not only for the people of Garissa, I mean to say, but for the people that have really been looking after him. Okay. He has been a patriarch, and we really want to appreciate the fact that has been...
Your minute is over. So we have Honorable Gutu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to say 2 words to my good colleagues, the outgoing Leader of Majority, Mr. Duale. I think I admired your ability to lobby me whenever there was need to see the government bill passed. I want to congratulate you. To Honorable Kimunya, I have seen so far, since yesterday, a number of people raising stones against your history. Please.
Honorable, I would have given the member for the Rakanithi, but I will give Honorable, but you know you are becoming a pastoralist in the chamber. So how do I give you an opportunity when you are consulting very far from where you are? Okay, proceed, the member for the Rakanithi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to congratulate Amos Kimunya for the appointment of the majority leader. And I would like, Mr. Speaker, to congratulate Honorable Duale. He has done a good job. He has performed. He has been a mentor to many of us. We want to wish him well. We want to wish him the best, whatever he is going to do. We have learned a lot from him, and I'm sure we are going to learn more from Honorable Kimunya. Thank you.
Very well, Chair, Honorable Wandai. And then I'll give probably the last.
Mr. Speaker, let me also take the opportunity to congratulate the incoming Leader of Majority, Honorable Kimunya, and also appreciate the good work that Honorable Duale did in this Parliament. Mr. Speaker, in the 11th Parliament, you will recall that the relationship between minority and majority side was totally adversarial. And in fact, if Honorable Duale can be faulted for anything, but not loyalty to his party, at least in that Parliament. In the 12th Parliament, I'm not sure what happened. But Mr. Speaker, it must go on record that had it not been for Honorable Duale, perhaps the minority side then would have overrun the majority side. But he stood very firm, and we fought against him fervently. But he defeated us, Mr. Speaker, in that Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that for us to continue as a Parliament,
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, for starters, I have been in a whipping office for the last 12 years, and 8 of which I worked under Honorable Duale. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for the time you have gotten me and the support. I want to also quickly request you that this Jubilee government belongs to us. It is us who elected the president in the seat today. Please, as you go out, recover, and I know you can recover quickly because even in the 10th Parliament, you
The 1 minute is over, Honorable Ashiali. Maybe I'll give you just 10 seconds. I don't know why I should, but you had your minute. You had your minute. And the other members also want to speak to this. You can see the interest. Honorable Ashiali, I don't even know how to pick you now back again.
Thank you, Speaker. I just wanted to mention as I finish that I know Duale very well. He recovered very fast when he was acting as an assistant minister, and I know even now he's going to recover quickly. Me, I've recovered already, and I'm also seeing some benefits that you don't have to come the earliest in chambers. You can also do your own other businesses as you look forward to things that affect your constituency and the nation at large. Therefore, I just want to thank you and welcome you again. And if you want some tea, I will buy for you so that I can advise you on how to behave when you are not in the House leadership.
Member for Madare.
I want to take this opportunity to thank the majority leader. Those of us who was on the other side, we were not very, very happy to have lost, especially in the last Parliament. security law, in this particular parliament, the VAT. I think in Kiswahili they usually say, mgala muwe lakini haki yake mpe. Honorable Duale, hats off. Honorable Kimunya, I hope that you will be able to balance in this session that you have in the next 2 years, a balance between government bills and private member bills so that the true meaning of Article 95 can be extended to every member in this House. I thank you and take over.
Honorable Melly.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to also say that I want to congratulate Honorable Duale for the work that he did all that time for almost 7 years when I was a vice chair and up to now when I'm the chair. Honorable Speaker, I also want to congratulate Honorable Amos Kimunya, who has been my vice chair in the Education Committee. I know him very well. He's a very diligent man, very committed and very knowledgeable, especially on issues parliamentary. I know he has an experience as a member of parliament spanning almost 15 years, and I know he's bringing this experience to this House and to lead and bring the nation to be one. Okay. Honorable Duale, I want to say that the work that you mentored us as leaders, I think we owe a lot to you, and may God bless you.
Thank you. And the next order.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Now, what is your point of order, Honorable Murugara?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I raise on a point of order because of the commotion that we had at the door this morning, just before we were allowed in. Mr. Speaker, the practice of allocating seats, I think, is not working. While we observe and agree that the leadership must have their seats reserved, it is my opinion and suggestion that from now henceforth, these seats should actually be occupied on a first-come, first-served basis. There is absolutely no reason and no point in allocating a seat to a person or a member of parliament who signs quickly and does not turn up. So it's my suggestion to the House leadership that for the rest of the seats, let's be allowed when we come in early, we occupy them, and then we transact.
I hear you, Honorable Murugara, and in all honesty, that is a very valid suggestion. Now, the only thing that I would want to do is, now that we have Honorable Kimunya as the new majority leader and Honorable Mbadi as a minority leader, I think between them, they should take it to the House Business Committee and make the requisite decisions and bring it to us. Because the truth of the matter is that 30 minutes after the House takes off, not a few members, quite a number of members who actually signed in are not there and available to occupy their seats. And therefore, we keep putting a lot of members by the door and the alley to come in and occupy those seats. I think it's a valid one. Honorable Minority Leader, you want to say something to that?
Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think, thank you for making that comment, but I think what needs to be done is just implementation. The last House Business Committee we were in, we agreed, Mr. Speaker, that there were people who were talking about 30 minutes, and I think finally we settled on 15 minutes. Mr. Speaker, if a member has not appeared in the House and had booked a seat, these seats don't belong to individual members. It's only that you booked. And if you booked and you are not there, let the members who are present come in and occupy those seats. Actually, we need members in this House. So, Mr. Speaker, I think it's the chair now to give instructions to the sergeant-at-arms that 15 minutes after the start of the sitting.
Leader of Minority, what Honorable Murungara is, and this is something I think you need to, between yourself and the Honorable Kimunya, can sit and really work it out easily, is that there are members who come. There are members who come a little late, and again the issue of 15 minutes. Yes. So
Mr. Speaker,
finish?
it is easier said first come, first serve, but it would also look ridiculous for MPs to start running here. You know, we are not children, Mr. Speaker. Let us have some order and have some few minutes. This idea of first comes, you will start pushing each other in the door. I don't think I would be party to such a building.
Honorable, I think, Honorable Minority Leader, what you have done is to, you know, we could have a thought into it. You know, the modalities can be worked on if, you know, between the two of you agree on a certain formula, it can be worked on. So can we give it until, you know, let's give it some thought and see how we can be able to help members. Because the truth of the matter, sitting where I am, sometimes you see members unavailable to take their seats. We can reserve the seats for the, you know, the leadership, but then the rest can be worked on a certain formula that is comfortable for everybody else. Honorable Nyasuna, what is it?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as the leaders consider this matter, and even as we speak about the first come, first serve, one thing I want to appreciate, Mr. Speaker, is previously it has been that when you register, so long as you register first, you will come even if you come to the morning session, the afternoon session. But I saw a change in that if somebody sits in the morning session, they might not sit in the afternoon session. But Mr. Speaker, as they think about the first come, first served, let's think about those planes in West Africa where the seats are not reserved and how people run into the plane. If you go to Lagos or somewhere where the seats have no numbers, people run into the plane, people can break their legs. So, Mr. Speaker, we must find a formula that keeps the dignity of members of parliament, because some of us, if you start running on those slippery floors because you want to make it here first come, first served, it might be a problem. So, Mr. Speaker, as they think about it, let us also consider the issue of the dignity of members.
Those are things that you will think about when you are making the decision. Obviously, it will be a question of running. There will be a few members from a certain region who will always be having the easier option. We should also be thinking about the footballers. So that is something that will be decided. And of course, again, let us also look at the persons with different abilities in the House. There are many things that we should consider, but I think you can take off. So let's go to the next order. By the way, honorable members, we are running late. So the next order, let's see.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today. Tuesday, June the 23rd of 2020, morning sitting. Number one, the explanatory memorandum on bilateral air service agreement, BASA, between Kenya and the United States of America. Number two, report on achievements and progress in the financial year 2019-2020 from the Ministry of Lands and Fiscal Planning. Number three, legal notice number 61 of 2020 relating to the Public Finance Management Strategic Food Reserve Trust Fund revocation regulations of 2020 and the explanatory memorandum. And number four, the draft land transaction registration, in bracket, electronic transactions regulations 2020 with the following accompanying annexures for pre-publication scrutiny. A, the Land Amendment Regulations 2020. B, Land Extension and Renewals of Leases Amendment Rules 2020. C, Land Allocation of Public Land Amendment Regulations 2020. D, Land Registration Electronic Transactions Regulations 2020. E, Survey Electronic Cadastre Regulations of 2020. F, Fiscal and Land Use Planning Electronic Development Control and Enforcement System Regulations of 2020. G, Duty Valuations Regulations of 2020. H, Stamp Publication Notice. I, Public Stakeholder Consultation, Annex 3A. J, Public Stakeholder Consultation, Annex 3B. K, Consultation with National Land Commission, Annex 4. Consultation with Council of Governors, Annex 5. multi-stakeholder joint task force, Annex 6, and N, regulatory impact assessment report. Number 5, the annual report and financial statements for the financial year 2018-2019 from the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And then we go to the next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statement.
Honorable members, since we are running short of time, the statement request by Honorable Olago Oluoch will be responded to in the afternoon. So we go to questions. And we'll start off with the member for Trans Nzoia. Well, Honorable, I've made a ruling, Honorable Kisang. We are actually running short of time because we have the finance bill. Kindly allow us to have that responded to in the afternoon. Yeah. Proceed. Honorable Nangabo. Oh yes, you are there, Honorable Nangabo. Now I'm trying to see how to find you. Yes, you have it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask question number 007/2020 to the Cabinet Secretary of Health. A, what measures has the ministry put in place to ensure that families residing in the formal settlements and the rural areas adversely affected during the COVID-19 pandemic period due to either accessibility or long distance to the healthcare facility access healthcare? What measures has the ministry put in place to address the equal distribution of resources realized from the COVID-19 emergency response funds to the citizens residing in the formal settlement and rural areas? C, what steps has the ministry taken to guarantee the health and safety of persons traveling between the cities and the rural areas, the public transport during COVID-19 pandemic period to curb the community infection? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That one will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Health, and is a question by private notice, so it's supposed to be answered within the stipulated time. The Chair, Health, is she in? Honorable, the Majority Leader will take it on her behalf and make sure that it's answered in good time. Now, we go to the ordinary questions. Member for Nakuru Town East. I can't see him. Member for Gatundu North. Member for Gatundu North.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask question number 70 of 2020. What is the status of the construction of the Gatukoyo-Kairi-Matara Road in Gatundu North constituency? Could the Cabinet Secretary give the names of the farms or farm or individuals awarded the contract for the construction of the road, the amount of money paid to date, and how much is outstanding, considering that only 1/3 of the 30 kilometers has been constructed, yet the project is behind schedule as it was expected to be completed in June 2019. Could the Cabinet Secretary confirm that the project is being implemented as per the required standards, considering that the 10 kilometers stretch constructed so far is now in a deplorable state? D, what measures is the ministry putting in place to ensure that the construction of the said road is completed? And lastly, Honorable Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary consider cancelling the contracts, blacklisting the contractor or contractors, and awarding the contract afresh to contract the required construction standards and timelines?
Very well. That will be replied to before Departmental Committee on Transport and Public Works and Housing. And I saw the chairman a few minutes ago. I think he could have stepped out. I wanted to confirm the timelines. We'll give him 2 weeks. Proceed, Honorable Member for Kabete, Honorable Amashukuru.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. This is question number 071, year 2020, directed to Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government. A, are there plans to provide communication allowance to Nyumba Kumi officials and administrators, considering that they are currently forced to use their own resources to transmit crucial information to relevant authorities regarding their communities? B, given the risky nature of the Nyumba Kumi strategy of anchoring community policing at various levels in the community, what measures are there in place to safeguard the security of these officials and administrators, including providing other necessary incentives? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, that one will be answered to before the reply to before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. Is the chair in? Okay, let's go to the member for Tharaka, Honorable Murugara.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask question number 072 of 2020, directed to the Cabinet Secretary, Education. A, could the Cabinet Secretary explain why 5 deputy principals of Teacher Service Commission, whose numbers are 41 45 17, 46 25 38, 46 30 28, 49 29 80, and 39 81 38 in Job Group L, duly appointed and deployed by the TSC, and who were awaiting to be put under the 2017 collective bargaining agreement for upgrading by the Commission, have had their positions withdrawn and assigned to other officers. Number B, what steps is the ministry taking to ensure that the Raqqa constituency is categorized and affirmed as an arid and semi-arid land asile area for the above 5 deputy principals to qualify for the upgrade? And number C, when will the said teachers be upgraded to the positions of deputy principals? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, that would be replied before Departmental Committee on Education and Research. What time do you require, Honorable Melly? And by the way, I see now the Honorable Chair, Transport. I'm sure you are aware that there was a question by the member for Gatundu North. Would be happy if you were to respond to it in 2 weeks, unless you need more time. That's fine. Then, Honorable Melly?
2 weeks.
2 weeks,
Speaker.
that's perfect. So we go to the last question by Honorable Mwandime.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Raising question 79 of 2020 to the Cabinet Secretary for Transport, Infrastructure, Housing, Urban Development and Public Works. Are there any plans to commence the construction of the standard gauge railway line linking Voi, Mwatate, and Taveta in Taita Taveta County?
Very well. Mr. Speaker. That will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing. An indication from Honorable Kosing? Well, we will pursue that with him. 2 weeks, I think, again, would be perfect. So we go to the next order.
Order number 8, the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2020, second reading. Question to be put.
Order, members. I confirm that we have the required quorum, and I therefore put the question that the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2020, be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. And as of a contra opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the laws relating to various taxes and duties and for matters incidental thereto. Order number 9, the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendments Bill, National Assembly Bill number 15 of 2020, first reading. A bill for an act of Parliament to make various amendments to statute law. Order number 10, the Social Assistance Repeal Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2020, first reading. A bill for an act of Parliament to repeal the Social Assistance Act.
Honorable members, before we proceed, I want to make a communication. And honorable members, before we proceed to the next order, being the Committee of the Whole House on the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2020, I wish to make the following guidance, which relates to the consideration of part of the proposed amendment to the said bill. As you may be aware, as you may have observed, the notices annexed to today's order paper contains several amendments that have been proposed to the bill. Most of the amendments have been proposed by the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning, which has sponsored the bill, the Departmental Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs, and the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works, and Housing. There are also amendments proposed by member for Kikuyu constituency, which I'm guided have similarity with those of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning. I have approved all those amendments. They are in order with respect to the requirements of Article 114 of the Constitution and our standing orders. Those proposed amendments may therefore be considered in the Committee of the Whole House. Honorable members, there are also other amendments proposed by Leader of Minority Party, Honorable John Mbadi, and other proposed by the member for Gatundu South, Honorable Moses Kuria, whose consideration I will not permit. This is because the amendments proposed by the two honorable members have not complied with provisions of Article 114 of the Constitution and Standing Order 133.5. As honorable members are aware, it is now an established practice that whenever the House is to consider any matter that may have financial implications on public funds, the House is bound to proceed only in accordance with the recommendations of the relevant committee, having taken views of the Cabinet Secretary for Finance. Indeed, the intentions of this provision is to ensure that while the House reserves the power to determine revenue-raising measures, it ought not to commit the public without taking cognizance of the fiscal policy and other consideration of the national government. Further, honorable members, Standing Order 133.5 also provides that no amendments shall be permitted to be moved if the amendment deals with a different subject or proposes to unreasonably or unduly expand the subject of the bill, or is not appropriate or is not in logical sequence to the subject matter of the bill. Honorable members, the Leader of my Minority Party, Honorable John Mbadi, is proposing to amend the bill in Clause 12 by inserting a new item in the second schedule of the Value Added Tax Act 2013, whose effect is to zero-rate taxable goods imported or purchased for direct and exclusive use in implementations of official aid-funded projects. In addition, the member for Gatundu South, Honorable Moses Kuria, is proposing to amend Clause 11 of the bill, as well as an insertion of a new Clause 14A, 14B, 28A, and new Clause 38 in the bill. These amendments targeting the Value Added Tax 2013, the Tax Procedures Act 2015, Insurance Act Cap 487, and the Stamp Duty Act Cap 480, not only offends the provisions of Standing Orders 133.5, but proceedings with the same would offend the provisions of Article 114 of the Constitution. This is because the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning, having taken views of the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury, recommends to the House in its report that the House should not proceed to consider the amendments. I therefore direct that the Committee of the Whole House shall not consider the amendments proposed by the two members to the stated bill. The House is accordingly guided, and I thank you.
Order number 11, Committee of the Whole House.
Very good. The other one will stand to your left for purposes of controlling the microphone.
Very good.
For members.
Very good.
Give you the schedules.
Very well. Is that close? Hold your horses. Very well, honorable members, welcome to the Committee of the Whole House on this very, very important bill. As a member said earlier, this explains why we are a budget-making house. Last week we dealt with the Committee of Supply, now we are Finance Bill. Later in the afternoon, do the Appropriation Act. All this is part and parcel of the budget process. Honorable members, may I give this guidance from the onset? Those who, especially those who are moving amendments, particularly the chair, just take your time to explain the import of especially the amendments that you bring or any other member, so that the members are very clear from the onset the import and the reason of the amendments. And then, honorable members, let's also agree we may not have so many members speak to any clause. We just pick one or two so that we make progress.
Clause 2.
Yes, what is your point of order, honorable Miri? What is your seat number?
I don't know, thank you.
Behind you. It helps for us to...
Oh, thank you. It's 126.
126.
Yeah,
yes, honorable Miri, please.
Chair, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Chair, I just wanted to raise a concern that I've raised before, that when we are in the Committee of the Whole House, because we are not usually very many, would it be possible for us to be availed the bill that we are dealing with? Because like right now, I'm trying to look for it online, and I can't find it. Can we please, to enable us follow what we are dealing with?
Okay, very well.
Yes.
Point noted. Actually, the clerk has undertaken to avail some copies so that then the members are able to follow on this very important. That will happen as we proceed. I'm told that it's actually available on soft, but as Honorable Miri of Yoba said, we also have the hard copies. We want the members to follow so that the decisions they make from a point of information. So circulation will happen as we proceed. Let's move on.
Clause 2.
Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 2 be part of the bill. There is a proposed amendment by the Honorable Chair, Honorable Limo.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause be amended as per the order paper. The justification for this, Mr. Chair, is that there is a proposal to lift the upper limit for rental income from the current 10 million to 15, whereas also lifting the lower limit from 144 to 288, in line with what was done in a tax law to relieve employees who are earning 24,000 and below. So in line with that, also for those who are in the informal sector and earning their income through rental, they have been also relieved in line with what we did, so that anybody who is receiving rent up to 288,000 and below per year is relieved from paying rental tax.
Very well. Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. I'll put the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 3 and 4.
Honorable members, I propose a question that clauses 3 and 4 be part of the bill. There are no amendments to that. I therefore put the question that clauses 3 and 4 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 5.
Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 5 be part of the bill. There is an amendment by the chairperson. Honorable Limo.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 5 be amended as per the order paper. Mr. Chair, the bill was initially proposing that the capital, the tax deduction which has been offered, which had always been offered to those who engage in social responsibility projects like building schools and hospitals, they have been enjoying the benefit of being allowed to use it to deduct their tax liability. However, this bill was proposing to remove it. But as a committee, we agreed, and in fact we agreed with the National Treasury, that anybody who is engaging in social responsibility should not be denied the benefit. And therefore we are moving these amendments so that they can retain the benefit if you build a school, hospital, or any associated amenities for the benefit of the community.
Very well. Let me propose a question first. Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the chair. Honorable Sankok.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. And Honorable Chair, we do support that particular amendment because for a long time, persons with disability have been benefiting from corporate social responsibility. Honorable Chair, it is only in 2003 that we had the Act of Parliament of Persons with Disability, Session Paper number 14. Honorable Chair, before that, it was purely corporate social responsibility. So we really need those companies that will have corporate social responsibility to continue enjoying tax reliefs.
Very well. Honorable, yes, Honorable, I almost said the chair of budget. Honorable Ishongwa. Yes, well, the member for Kikuyu.
Thank you, Chair. It's Chair Emeritus, no longer the Chair of Budget. But I want to support that particular amendment, Honorable Chair, and indeed inform the country that we cannot punish good acts and acts that are done in good faith. My constituency has benefited from sin taxes that come from people like Kenya Breweries, BAT, and I have seen a lot of support in the drier parts of my constituency from the East African breweries, foundations, providing water. And therefore, if they are to benefit by not being taxed for these activities, if you go to Maas Island, Honorable Chair, a lot of schools have been built through corporate social responsibility, and we need to encourage our corporates, especially at this time of COVID. A lot of corporates have come in to donate even funds to the COVID fund, and we need to encourage them to continue doing so to support our people, and therefore support.
Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 5, as be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 5, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 6 and 7.
I propose a question that clauses 6 and 7 be part of the bill. There are no amendments to that. I therefore put the question that clauses 6 and 7 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? Have it.
Clause 8.
I propose a question that clause 8 be part of the bill. There is an amendment by the chair, finance, Honorable Limo. Clause 8.
All right, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 8 be amended as per the order paper. Honorable Chair, I will explain. I'll explain both A. There is A, B, and C. In A, what we are doing is to reject the proposed amendment, which was proposing to remove the exemption from income tax that was available for income of National Social Security Fund, NSSF. This one, we saw it as not good because it was going to reduce the benefits which were going to be payable to the members of NSSF. Part B, Mr. Chair, it was a proposal to remove paragraph 53. And we realized paragraph 53 contained two issues, which one of them was taxation to benefits to pensioners. And therefore, to separate the contents of that paragraph, we proposed to delete the whole paragraph, and then in C, we returned the benefit which was given to the members of the public who are receiving monthly pension and they are 65 years of age and above. So what we are doing here is to save the members of the pensioners. I know in the public domain, the pensioners have been crying that there is a proposal to tax them. However, through this amendment B and C, we have returned that benefit to them so that they will not be taxed.
Very well. Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 8 be amended as proposed by the chair. Honorable, let's have two members speak to this. Honorable Miri.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I want to congratulate the Chair of Finance for the amendments that is brought so far in the one on corporate social responsibility and goodwill. But I want to thank him especially over this, because if you have pensioners that have worked and served this country well, and we want to start pursuing people who are over 65 years and above, who are struggling at home, and we know that even pensioners are still, so many other people are still dependent on them. So it was actually wrong that we even imagine, we know that the country is struggling because of COVID, but we need to find more novel ways of cushioning the economy than to look for even more vulnerable people. These are the same people that we are even collecting money for as vulnerable, then we are still following them and taxing. So I fully support, Chair.
Very well, because there's quite a bit of interest on this particular one, on the pensioners. I had said we'll have two members speak. If you speak for 1 minute, I can give open up beyond the two, because on this particular one. Let's have Honorable Mary first. Mary.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I just want to say that actually this amendment is very good, and I want to congratulate the Chair of Finance, because taxing pensioners is actually doing double taxation
Very
because
well.
they had actually paid taxes during their service time. And two, this is the time when they are very vulnerable. They are aged, they need money to buy drugs,
Very
and
well.
they also have a lot of dependents.
Very
And
well.
two, on the social responsibility issue, I think it is something that is going to enhance the care, the social responsibility of institutions and organizations. I thank you.
Honorable Otiende.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Chairman, I actually came to support this particular move, and I want to laud the committee and the chair for seeing the wisdom to reverse this particular dangerous trend. I received representations, particularly from a group of pensioners, to come and amend what could have been very wrong. Mr. Chairman, even in law, when you are engaged on certain terms, those terms cannot just adversely be changed to your detriment after you have served. And it is quite important that those who serve can be sure that their pension will be protected. I fully support, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Honorable Jonah, if you take 1 minute, especially on this, give a few members so that...
Thank you, Speaker. I also support. I am even wondering, in the first place, who had brought in that clause, because how do we charge pensioners who have been paying taxes all the time? How do we continue milking the old cow? So I think it is a very good, wise decision from the chair, Mr. Limo, to remove that clause. Thank you.
Honorable Yasuna.
Thank you. I just join other members in supporting this because a lot of pensioners had raised this issue of taxation of their pensions. Pensions are meager in comparison to the regular income that the person has been in. So if you subject it again to tax, it becomes a problem. So I support and congratulate the committee and the chair.
Honorable Whip, Majority Whip.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I want to thank the chair of the committee that pensioners should not be taxed anymore. These are people who have paid taxes since they began working until they went to retire. Therefore, Honorable Chair, I wish to support seriously that one.
Honorable members, let's really make progress on this one. I think the House, let the House make a decision on this honestly, that we make progress. Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 8 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? I now put the question that clause 8 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 9 and 10.
I propose the question that clauses 9 and 10 be part of the bill. No amendments to those. I therefore put the question that clauses 9 and 10 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay?
Clause 11.
I propose a question that clause 11 be part of the bill. There is an amendment on subclause 11A by the chair. In fact, it is not just 11A. You can just move all of them. The 3 subclauses that you want to... So the House makes a decision on the entire clause.
All right.
11.
Okay. Yeah, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 11 be amended as per the order paper. And Honorable Chair, I will explain all the parts. But the first part was actually an amendment to remove the exemption of aluminum PIFA-proof cups under tariff number 8309/1990. This exemption of these products is no longer relevant, and the stakeholders actually and the National Treasury agreed to this, that it is no longer relevant, it is no longer an item which is used. And then on part B, on the second one was the amendment in the bill which sought to delete the exemption that was available for machinery and equipment in the construction of plastics recycling plants. This amendment was actually introduced in 2019 to encourage the investment in plastic recycling in line with what has been implemented in Kenya, that we no longer use plastics, and therefore we encourage recycling so that they do not spoil the environment. So this benefit was being reversed, and the committee felt that it is not yet time that we can reverse something we passed in 2019 so that we become predictable. The the next one, Mr. Chair, is that the committee, because of COVID, this COVID period is actually hurting the lives of Kenyans. And it has been realized that, the best way is to ensure that all essential goods, including bread and milk, which we did in tax law, are moved to zero rated. So what we are proposing here in this bill, and it will come later on in Article Clause 12, without anticipating debate, is to move UNGA from the current exempt to zero rated. Now, so to align it to that, we have to remove UNGA and supply of maize flour and others, including wheat. What we are doing here is to remove it from the exempt because we will be moving to zero. So that is the explanation, Mr. Chair.
Very well. Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 11 be amended as proposed by the chair. I will put the question that clause 11 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 11 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Now, there were amendments, two other proposed amendments on clause 11 by Honorable Badi, the minority leader, and Honorable Moses Kuria. In line of the communication by the Speaker earlier, this has been disallowed in line with Article 114 of the Constitution and Standing Order 133(5). So the two have been disallowed in line of the earlier communication by the Speaker. Next.
Clause 12.
Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 12 be part of the bill. There is an amendment by Honorable Chair. Honorable Junet, don't engage the chair too much. He has some duty there. Yes, you have the floor.
All right, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 12 be amended as per the order paper. Basically, Mr. Chair, what this clause is doing is to zero rate the supply of flour, the supply of maize flour, cassava, wheat, and all that, so that it makes it cheaper, especially during this COVID period. It will make it cheaper and affordable to the Kenyans, to the many Kenyans.
Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 12 be amended as proposed by the chair. I'll give two members only. From this side, Honorable Sankok, if you could be brief, we would really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, and thank you, the Honorable Chair of Finance, for that particular amendment. We really need basic food, that is flour and rice, cassava, to be zero rated for the sake of common citizens. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Honorable, I can't tell who this member is. Is this Honorable Makau? Makari, yes, Honorable Makari, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I think I must commend the Chair of Finance for this amendment of zero rating maize flour, cassava flour. These are basic essentials, Mr. Chairman, and I think as a House, we support this. I support.
I now put the question that clause 12 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 12 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next clause. Next clause.
Clause 13.
I propose a question that clause 13 be part of the bill. No amendment to clause 13. I therefore put the question that clause 13 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Yes, on clause 12, I didn't pronounce myself on still the earlier communication by the speaker on the amendment by the minority leader, which was disallowed in line with Article 114 of the Constitution and Standing Order 135, just for record. Next clause.
Clause 14.
I propose a question that clause 14 be part of the bill. There's an amendment by the chair, Finance. Honorable Limo.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 14 be amended as per the order paper. Mr. Chair, there are two parts here, and both are actually aiming at enhancing collection of revenue. There was a proposal to reduce the standard, the content of alcohol from the current 10% to 8%. So we are proposing to lower it to 6% so that we can collect more, but at the same time ensure that the market is actually operating normally. And part B, Mr. Chair, is proposing to delete paragraph 5 in part. It is actually, I want to move a further amendment on that because there is an error. Instead of referring to part 2, it is referring to part 1. So part B should be amended to read part 2 instead of what is being referred to as part 1. This is going to enhance revenue because currently the revenue is going down.
Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 14 be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question that, before I put the question, Makari, Honorable Makari.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I think the chair, when you look at part 2 of that amendment, it still states 8, and he's saying moving from 10 to 6. So I don't know whether the 8 there should be changed to 6 or it still remains 8, because it still reads 8%.
Honorable Chair, if you could clarify that for
okay,
the
let me
of the
clarify. It is actually proposing, you know, the bill was proposing to move from 10 to 8. To 8. However, we are proposing an amendment to move it from 8 to 6. Oh, yeah, so both, even the other part should also, thank you very much for the correction. Even part 2 should read, should read 6. Yeah, it should read 6. Yeah, so I'm moving a further amendment so that it will read from 8 to 6.
Very well. Honorable Makari, thank you for raising that. I therefore put the question that clause 14 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 14, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? No. The ayes have it.
Clauses 15, 16, 17, and 18.
I propose a question that clauses 15, 16, 17, 18 be part of the bill. No amendments to those. I therefore put the question that clauses 15, 16, 17, and 18 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. What is your point of order, Honorable Miri?
Chair, could you please direct the beer drinkers next to me who are complaining after their amendment has been, the amendment has been carried? There are beer drinking members who are complaining very loudly. Can you please direct them?
Well, Honorable Miri Odhiambo, you're out of order because beer drinking is not a problem, but I'm wondering, the two members, are they seated in the right places? Because they seem to be very close to each other. Honorable Kioni and Honorable Kwenya, I know you are neighbors back at home, but you cannot, there must be social distance. Let's make progress.
Clause 19.
Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 19 be part of the bill. Honorable Limo, you have an amendment?
Yeah, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 19 be amended as per the order paper. Honorable Chair, the amendment is to provide that the exemption for import declaration fee is only available specifically for equipment, machinery, and motor vehicles for the official use by the KDF and the National Police. The initial use in the bill of all goods may lead to abuse of the exemption. And therefore, we were moving so that we become specific on the items which the IDF will be exempted. Likewise, on Part B, we are also moving in the same way so that railway development levy is tied to specific items, which is equipment, machinery, and motor vehicles for use by KDF and police, so that it's not general, it is specific.
Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 19 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 19 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 19 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 20.
I propose a question that clause 20 be part of the bill. No amendment to that clause. I therefore put the question that clause 20 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 21.
I propose a question that clause 21 be part of the bill. We have an amendment not by Chairperson Finance this time, but the Chairperson Transport. Honorable Kosing.
I thank you, Honorable Chair, and we work together in a seamless manner with the Chair Finance. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 21 be amended as it is on the order paper. Honorable Chair, our motivation is clarity in terms of definition of the word toll collector. In the original bill, it wasn't clear, Honorable Chair, and therefore what we are doing here, we are proposing that we make it clear to include or to mean that toll collector appointed under Section 4, which is public, and also a toll collector must mean the same thing as it is on a private toll collector appointed under Section 4B. So the toll collector must have the same definition to refer to private toll collector and also a public toll collector, Honorable Chair. But that was missing in the original bill. Thank you.
I propose a question that clause 21 be amended as proposed by the Chairperson Transport. Yes, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wa.
Chair, I don't think the chair has come out quite clearly on these two definitions of the public toll collector and the private toll collector. And as you are aware, Honorable Speaker, there are proposals to toll very many of our roads. And if you are not careful with these definitions, we may find private entities that are really not beneficial to the public, collecting money from members of the public, and not necessarily plowing back this money to the development of the infrastructure. Therefore, I think the chair needs to be a bit clearer, because he's just basically read it as it is on the order paper. He's not come out to really explain what he wants to achieve with this redefinition. And you know, in legislation, definition is everything, Honorable Speaker, Chair.
Honorable Kosing, for the purpose of the House, the members, why don't you do a further import, the import of your amendment, particularly?
Honorable Chair, if you look at the original bill, and before even the original bill, the Act itself, the Toll Act, there are two sections that talk differently. Section 4 talks about public toll collector. Section 4A talks about private toll collector. But if you look at the definition in the bill, now not in the Act, because it's not there, in the bill that was proposed, it wasn't clear, Honorable Chair, what do you mean by, or which toll collector are you talking about, if you look at the bill. And if you look at that clause 21, Honorable Speaker, if you allow me, then I can read. But if you look at it, it wasn't saying what toll collector are you talking about. Are you talking about a public toll collector as indicated under Section 4, or a private toll collector as prescribed under Section 4B. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, we are proposing, so that it is very clear, that the toll collector means the toll collector appointed under Section 4, which is not a public toll collector, or a private toll collector appointed under 4A. So it's as clear as that, Honorable Chair.
Very well.
Maybe my colleague, Honorable Chungwa.
Very well, very well. Very well. I therefore put the question that clause 21 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 21 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 22.
I propose the question that clause 22 be part of the bill. Honorable Chair, Limo, you have an amendment.
Yes, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 22 be amended as per the order paper. Mr. Chair, the amendment is to provide specifically that the private toll collectors may only collect from roads that are constructed under public-private partnership arrangements, so that this will avoid instances where private tax collectors can operate tolls on roads which are constructed using public funds. This is very clear. We wanted to ensure that specifically what was moved by the chair of Honorable Kosing will only apply to PPPs. And this is very important because we know there are two roads which are very key. The one from airport to Westlands and the one from Nairobi to Mausami, which are about to be done. And in fact, they have started. It is important that this applies to such kind of roads because under PPP, they are supposed to recoup their investment, including their agreed profits.
I propose a question that clause 22 be amended as proposed by the chair. Yes, let's have one person. Honorable Sankok, you look very...
Yes, I just wanted to request, and thank you, Chair, to request the Chair of Finance. Is there a way we can also maybe include railway or railway line? Because very soon we may need a railway built through private-public partnership. And even bridges, Honorable Chair, because the issue that we are facing in Mombasa through the ferry, so that we can also have a bridge of...
Honorable Sankok, the best way would have been for you to propose a further amendment, which you didn't. So
can
therefore, Honorable Member, Honorable Sankok, yes, Honorable, let's have two majority leader. You want to speak to this?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, indeed, during my own contribution during this debate, I did allude to the fact that we might need to open up the tolling and all that to include all services that might need to be procured through PPP. But for now, I would urge that perhaps we process what is ready, and then we bring a more comprehensive bill that will now cover the whole range of services, because there might be different permutations for who does water, who does railway, and all that, rather than try to bring it within this one bill.
Very well.
That will bring the amendments not in the finance bill or tolling bill, but within a PPP framework. So much as I understand where Honorable Sankok is coming from, but the timing may not be right for this.
Very well.
Yeah,
very well.
thanks.
Honorable Atandi, don't you want us to make progress? Just a minute, Honorable Atandi.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I just wanted to agree with the chairman and to say that this amendment is very important for institutionalizing public-private partnership. You realize today, government is borrowing so much to fund infrastructure. But we have been saying here that some of these debts are very expensive. So actually, this amendment will ensure that actually we can fund some of these projects without using our resources. Thank you, Speaker.
I now put the question that clause 22 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 22 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 23 and 24.
I propose a question that clauses 23 and 24 be part of the bill. No amendments to that. I therefore put the question that clauses 23 and 24 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 25.
I propose a question that clause 25 be part of the bill. Honorable Chairperson, Transport, you have an amendment. Clause 25.
Yes, Chair, I have an amendment. And Chair, I beg to move that clause 25 be amended as it is on the order paper. And if you look at it, Honorable Chair, A is saying except transit toll. Here, Honorable Chair, what we are proposing, in the original, in the bill, we created a fund, which is toll fund, which will be domiciled in Treasury. However, Honorable Chair, in the description of that toll fund, it included what we call transit tolls. Transit toll, Honorable Speaker, has no relation at all with the toll regime we are creating, or even the toll fund we are instituting. Transit toll, Honorable Chair, is already existing, and it is in practice, it is in use, and it is domiciled in Kenya Roads Board, Honorable Chair, under what we call, of course, maintenance. And therefore, we are then we are separating then the fund. We are removing the transit toll to remain in the KRB because it's already existing. The new fund we are creating is for toll, Honorable Speaker, Chair, so we are separating. In B, if you look at B there, what we are doing, Honorable Chair, is introducing the role of this fund. As Honorable Tandi earlier said, that we are actually having creativity, moving away from having borrowing money outside there, and come up with new ingenious ways of funding our roads. But Honorable Chair, we will not only satisfy the people of Kenya, and this we say, where is this money going? And that is why this amendment is telling the people of Kenya the money will go to develop, repair, and maintain roads, Honorable Chair, so that the money is not collected and used elsewhere. Parliament and people of Kenya must know that the money which will be collected will be used for the purpose of development of the roads, Honorable Chair.
Very well. Honorable members, I will propose a question that clause 25 be amended as proposed by the chair. Let's have two members speak to this, particularly those members who haven't spoken. Honorable Bui.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I think this is a genuine amendment because, as explained by the Chair of Transport, it clearly just defines the use of that money and also clearly ensures that that money is not diverted to other uses. So I think it's a good amendment. I support.
Honorable Sheikh.
Chair, I support that amendment. The first amendment separates the two tolls. And B gives the functions, the money, what to be used for the money specifically, for maintenance of roads, repair of roads. So, Chair, I support the amendment. It's a good amendment.
Okay, very well. Let's, before further amendment, let's have the member.
I support the amendment which was brought by the chair. This is just to give clarity, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, because there are two different types of tolls. Tolls that already, tariff toll that already exist under the RMLF, and a new toll which has been proposed under PP, Private-Public Partnership Program. This was just to separate those different tolls. I support the amendment.
Very well. Honorable Tongi, here, Honorable Miri, you have a further amendment, but let's hear from.
Thank you, Chairman, for the opportunity. I have concern, whereas I am supporting the amendment, Chairman, have concern that there are too many toll stations also being erected by the county governments. Are they affected by this arrangement? And if yes, are we not causing confusion in the system? That's why we need clarity in terms of definition to know which one toll stations are being affected. You know, they must be clear in our definition, Madam Chairman, because we know definition is everything in law.
Very well. What is the clarification, Honorable? There are two clarifications. If we could take half a minute, I'll give Chair, please take note of what members are saying, because it's important.
Thank you, Chair. I support the amendment to separate the exit transport toll so that KRB remains and continues to do its work. But my clarification is on the amendment moved by the Chair of Transport, where he says development, repair, or maintenance of roads as the minister may direct. Is this the Minister for National Treasury, or is it the Minister for Transport at the time? Because I feel that directing which roads and so on should remain in the domain of the Minister for Transport rather than the Minister for National Treasury. So that minister in that amendment should be clarified so that we know which minister.
Very well, Honorable Makari, just a clarification you're saying. And then before that, Honorable Makari, Honorable Miri Odhiambo, I heard you mention that you have a further amendment. It's good for you to have that in writing, and I'm sure you can approach the table to be helped. In line standing order 1-3, I'm just giving you that so that then as a member speak, you prepare yourself to that. The further amendment. I heard you say you have a further amendment. So it is important to approve. Okay, I'm sure you can consult as we hear the...
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, well, I really support these amendments, but I think the share should come out very clear because, Mr. Chairman, we are discussing these tolls under the framework of public partnership, the PPP. So when he talks about the minister coming in, my understanding is once you recover your money and the profit, that becomes a public road and things will move just normal. So when you talk about a minister, this could cause confusion. I think it's really better you come out clear so that it's clear to us as we approve this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. My Chair, yes, Honorable Nimrod. Then we... Honorable Chair, I'll give you a chance, certainly.
Guys, thank you, Chair. Mr. Chair, I rise in support, but I would also, because you've seen county governments gearing towards PPPs. Does this affect what is happening with the county governments, or how do we go ahead and regulate the same up to the level of the county governments? Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Joyce, 1 minute, then we give the Chair. We make progress.
Thank you very much, Chair. I want to support the amendment that has been brought forward by our EPO Chair. And I want to say that I think when you go to a number of countries, the issue of the toll, the PPP toll is really working in terms of supporting the infrastructure. Thank you.
Very well. I'm giving one more member so that Honorable Miri finishes her proposed amendment, further amendment to this amendment, and possibly speaks to the Chair. If the Chair is gracious enough, he could accede to that amendment and move himself. Yes, Honorable Nyenze. Honorable Miri, you better consult quickly because we...
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I stand to support the amendment, but also note that the government should be very careful on the amount of money to be collected by the people in the PPP so that they don't exceed the required amount. Thank you. I support.
Very well. Yes, Honorable Sankok.
Thank you very much.
And then I'll give it to
Chair.
Honorable Chair and Honorable Miri.
And by the way, Chair, I support this amendment because it will completely remove the issue of corruption because it is now the public-private partnership that will construct the road and collect the money rather than us borrowing the money and probably using it in other forms and even corruption come in. But when it is in private hands, I'm sure it will be put into good use. So I do support.
Very well. Honorable Miri, are you... Yes, you know you have a right to do a further amendment. Yes. That further amendment, you get a seconder, and the House will make a decision.
Yes, Chair.
Honorable, you can say you will second when Honorable Miri has not even moved.
I had whispered to him. Chair, I propose a further amendment to subclause 2AB as follows, that we add the words taking into account regional balance at the end so that even as the monies are collected, we have regional balance in dishing out these roads to the rest of the country, Chair. Yeah.
Who
now
seconds?
you can second me.
And Honorable Kosing, I'll give you a chance to speak to that amendment.
Seconding. Chairman, having Honorable Miri as my neighbor here helped me to understand the import of what she's doing. And we all appreciate that the issues in Kenya are based on the sharing of the cake. And people want to feel the government, and the only way to feel it is to ensure that people are being given a fair chance to develop at the same pace. And therefore, this amendment is healthy, is good for the country, and especially now that the president is working to unite the country, I think this comes in very handy, because if we don't have it as a requirement, then we are going to have these challenges going forward, where one region will feel like neglected at the expense of the other part of the country. So for purposes of uniting the country, just like the president stands for, and we all support him, we want to have this amendment so that we have one united country, at least Kenyan feeling that they're also beneficiaries in all this national cake sharing process. Thank you.
Let me make a proposal first, so that then finally the House will make a decision. Honorable members, I propose that the amendment by Chairperson Transport be further amended as proposed by Honorable Miri Odhiambo. Honorable Kosing, I'll give the chair first, because it is the amendment, the further amendment is on his amendment.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, I think you need to guide the House. In terms of, I have no problem with that amendment, but in terms of procedure, Honorable Chair, at this level, you know, who is supposed to move amendments? Further amendments, supposed to actually to be the owner of the amendment, which actually Miri Odhiambo should actually request me to move further amendment for her, which actually, Honorable Chair, is not harmful, and therefore I can agree with her.
Honorable Kosing, you agree with her, but I would like you to refer to starting under 133. 133.3. When there is an amendment to a bill and is on the floor of the House, there is a chance, there is room, there is opportunity for a member to do a further amendment on an amendment. If you read the starting order 133.3, it is on basis of that Honorable Miri Odhiambo amendment has been allowed. Honorable members, so that we don't take a lot of time on this, this is still a further amendment. We haven't dealt with the original amendment, so I'll put the question, Honorable members, so I'll make progress. Honorable members, I will now put the question that the further amendment on the amendment by the Chairperson of Transport be approved. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I will put the question now on the full amendment by Honorable Kosing as amended by Honorable Miri Odhiambo's amendment. I hope members are catching that. I now put the question that clause 25 be amended as proposed. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 25 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next.
Clause 26.
I propose a question that clause 26 be part of the bill. There is an amendment by the Chairperson of Transport. I hope we can move slightly faster on this now, Honorable members, so to make progress.
We are moving fast, Honorable
Very
Chair,
well.
and therefore I beg to move that clause 26 be amended as it is in the standing order. And Honorable Speaker, Chair, what we are doing here is we are enhancing the punishment of lawbreakers. And the original act has a maximum of 5,000. And through public participation, Honorable Chair, we agreed that 5,000 was a long time ago, 1980s. And therefore we are moving to 50, a maximum of 50,000, Honorable Chair.
Very well. Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 26 be amended as proposed by the Chair. I'll put the question that clause 26 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 26 as amended be part of the bill? Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 27, 28, and 29.
I propose a question that clauses 27, 28, and 29 be part of the bill. No amendments to that. I therefore put the question that clauses 27, 28, and 29 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 30.
I propose a question that clause 30 be part of the bill. Honorable Chair, Honorable Limo, you have a proposed deletion.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 30 be amended as per the order paper. This amendment, Mr. Chair, is to delete the new definition which was being brought to define consolidators, which we actually defined under Finance Bill 2019. This will ensure that the consolidators are well regulated and they will be responsible for the consolidated cargo. The proposed amendment in the bill was actually going to reverse the gains which were intended in the Finance Bill 2019 of ensuring that the traders the small traders are actually assisted by consolidators who are now which was actually proposed to be regulated so that when they import, it is known who is importing and is importing on behalf of small traders. So we were proposing that we reject the new definition because it was going to reverse the gains which were intended in 2019.
Honorable members, I propose a question that clause that be deleted as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 30 be deleted as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 31.
Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 31 be part of the bill. Honorable Chair, you're proposing a deletion?
Yes, Chair, I am proposing a deletion, and therefore I beg to move that clause 31 be amended as it is in the standing in the order paper. Honorable Chair, what is happening here, we are proposing a deletion of that clause because the transit toll money was actually being taken to be together with the toll fund, which is in Treasury. And what our wisdom, Honorable Chair, earlier in clause 25, to separate the fund, the transit toll, and the toll money, because we are prosecuted, that is only affecting, therefore, that prosecution that we approve, Honorable Chair, to separate the fund and retain the transit fund at KRB under the maintenance levy. Thank you, Chair.
Very well, honorable members, I propose a question that clause 31 be deleted as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 31 be deleted as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 32.
I propose a question that clause 32 be part of the bill. No amendment to that. I therefore put the question that clause 32 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 33.
I propose a question that clause 33 be part of the bill. Honorable Chair, you have an amendment. Chairperson, Finance.
Yes, Honorable Chair, we are in receipt of this amendment, Mr. Chair, was on KRA, the allocation of funding to KRA. But we have received a communication from the National Treasury that there is still consultations being done between the National Treasury and the KRA, and of course even the cabinet. So we are proposing to drop this one.
Very well. If that is dropped, I therefore put the question that clause 33 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 34.
I propose the question that clause 34 be part of the bill. Honorable Chair, Finance, you have an amendment?
Yeah, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 34 be amended as per the order paper. This amendment, Mr. Chair, is to provide that the limitation of time for matters against KRA is 3 years. This is to comply with the different decisions made by different courts that held that the Public Authority Limitation of Action Act cannot apply to the Kenya Revenue Authority. So that is a reason for this introduction.
Very well. I propose a question that clause 34 be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 34 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 34 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 35 and 36.
I propose a question that clauses 35 and 36 be part of the bill. No amendments to that. I therefore put the question that clauses 35 and 36 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 37.
I propose a question that clause 37 be part of the bill. There is an amendment by the Chairperson, Justice and Legal Affairs. Who has a brief? Yes, Honorable Shamala.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 37 be amended as per the elder paper. The amendment seeks to ensure that the proposed protection of tax revenue held on behalf of Kenya Revenue Authority by commercial banks and financial institutions during insolvency is effective by aligning the amendment to the language used in the Banking Act. And very shortly, the committee noted that the Section 4 of the Banking Act provides for licensing of persons and not registration as used in the proposed amendment. The committee was of the view that this minor amendment is necessary in order to give effect to the purpose of the amendment of the Insolvency Act as stated in the memorandum and objects of reasons for the bill.
Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 37 be amended as proposed by the Chairperson, Justice and Legal Affairs. I will put the question that the clause 37 be amended as proposed by the Chair, Justice and Legal Affairs. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 37 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Order, Majority Leader, I did not remind the members to vote. It is a vote. It's only Honorable Bui's voice that can hear. Let me put that again. I now put the question that clause 37 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. That is better. Honorable members, we are done with the clauses. We will go to the new clauses.
New clauses. New clause 9A.
Chair, you move the second reading of new clause 9A. Honorable Limo, new clause 9A. Second reading.
All right, Honorable Chair, I now beg to move that A be now read the second time. This amendment, Mr. Chair, is to align the cross-referencing in 8th schedule to the amendments that were made to the second schedule in Tax Laws Amendment Act 2020. So it's a cross-referencing issue to the law which we passed in April.
Bro, I propose a question that new clause 9A be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 9A be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose a question that new clause 9A be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 9A be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 10A.
Chairperson Finance, second reading, please.
Mr. Chair, I beg to move that new clause 10A be now read the second time. This amendment is intended to save the VAT exemption under paragraph 102 that was available for existing projects under the Special Operating Framework arrangement with the government. This is in line with the fact that paragraph 102 was deleted in tax law. However, there are certain projects which are already running, and therefore this amendment is intended to save those who are already in that arrangement.
Honorable members, I propose the question that new clause 10A be now read a second time. Yes, what? Honorable Wamalwa, what is it?
My concern, thank you, Chair. I was following what the Chair was saying, but he has not given full disclosure for the House to understand what is he referring to these continuous projects government that are going on.
Very well.
I think we need some more info on that.
Very well.
Thank you.
What is your point of order, Honorable Mili?
Chair, I just wanted clarity from a legal perspective that if you look at what the new clause is saying, notwithstanding the repeal of paragraph 1 or 2 of the first schedule, the exemption of goods imported or purchased locally for direct and exclusive use in the implementation of projects and a special operating framework arrangement with the government shall continue for existing projects for the remaining period of the agreement. Chair, how can we be referring to a law that is repealed? We have no legal fit with which to stand, and even though I'm not opposing this, but I think the way that this amendment should be brought should be different. Because you cannot then refer to an already repealed law as a basis for bringing an amendment. There is no law. What are we referring to? There is no law if it's already repealed. So I would just want to ask that maybe if the chair could get assistance to rephrase this so that we are not, because somebody will challenge this, we cannot be making reference to a law that is not in existence.
Very well. Honorable Chair, Honorable Mili raises a fundamental issue, not opposed to what you have, the new clause, but raising that. Do you want to speak to this? Yes, and Honorable Wamalwa as well. Let's have the chair first.
Actually, Mr. Chair, intention here is if an entity have already been given the benefit of this exemption which was there, upon a repeal, though the law will have been repealed, but the benefit will not be taken away from them. That is the intention. Maybe I'm not a lawyer, however, I understand the logic behind it, that it should not deny the benefit to an investor who has already invested in it on the basis of a law which was existing then. That is the objective.
Honorable Kosing, Honorable Kosing. Not Honorable Kosing, sorry. Chepkut, I'm sorry, my apologies. Honorable Kosing is the one seated next to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. It is true that we want legal framework and we want at the same time disclosure be made in the amendment. But Chair, all I want, me personally, we support what majority leader wants. But at the same, yes, ours is to comply with His Excellency the President. We want to move with speed. That his agenda, don't worry, that his agenda. Yes.
What is your point? What is your point of order? What is your point of order?
Chair, how as chair?
There is a member who is on a point of order. What is your point of order, Honorable Joyce?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Order, Honorable Ishongwa.
Thank
you. Can't shout from your seat. Honorable Joyce is on the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Is it in order for the honorable members to tell us that he wants to bring or to support the amendments in the floor of the House just because he wants to show loyalty to the President? Are we working for the executive or we are working as legislators to the people who elected us to this House?
Order members, we must make progress. We really must make progress. I am well advised that that amendment is actually in place. Honorable members, let's make progress. We have only a few minutes. I now put the question that new clause 10A be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that new clause 10A be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 10A be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 13A.
I propose, the Honorable Chair, please, if you can move. There are two amendments here. One is dependent on the other. We shall start with the one of the chairperson. Depending on the decision of the House, we may move to the second. But we will start with the one of the chair.
All right, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 13A be amended as per the order paper with...
It's a new clause.
It's a new clause.
Yeah, it's second reading, actually.
Yes. I want to, Mr. Chair, sorry. Mr. Chair, I propose that new clause 13A be now read as a second time with an additional amendment to replace the word shall with may. The reasoning for this, Mr. Chair, is that the Commissioner General has been making adjustments of rates annually without consulting the National Treasury CS, at the same time without passing through Parliament. So we want to say that those amendments, any amendments of rates, may be done by the Commissioner General. However, with consultation with the Cabinet Secretary in charge of National Treasury, and it must come to this House for the purpose of approval or disapproval, because it is an issue which touches on taxes, and it is a very important process for this House to make a decision.
Very well. Honourable members, I propose a question that new clause 13A be now read a second time. I'll give Honourable Ichongwa, because he had a similar amendment to that of the chair. It's good for the House to hear.
In fact, Honourable Chair, let me thank the Chair for having that amendment and agreeing after consultations to do it with a further amendment to replace the word shall with may, but just to make a clarification, the Chair to clarify that shall is in the first section of the shall that we are removing is in the sub-clause 1, not the others, because the others remain the National Assembly shall. The notice shall is only where we are talking about notice of the tax. The commissioner may, with the approval, not shall. So it's only in 1 where we are changing from, despite section 8, the commissioner may, with the approval of the cabinet secretary. And that's to provide discretion for this to be effected only when it is necessary, Honorable Speaker. But because I spoke to this during the second reading of this bill, Honorable Speaker, this particular clause, as it is indeed, is unconstitutional. And therefore, I want to support that amendment, because it is only this House that can enact legislation that relates to taxation of the people that we represent. And therefore, we must ensure that at any time when the Commissioner General wants to effect any changes to tax rates, they must come to this House for the people to be represented by their representatives when they are being taxed, Honorable Speaker, and therefore want to support with that further amendment of the changing the word shall to may.
Honorable members, I'll put the question that new clause 13A be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose a question that new clause 13A be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 13A be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Therefore, as naturally, the amendment by Honorable Ishongwa or the new clause falls. Next.
New clause 14A.
Honorable members, there was new clause 14A, but in line of earlier communication by the Speaker, that amendment was by Honorable Moses Kuria. That is disallowed in line with Article 114 of the Constitution and Standing Order 1335.
New clause 14B.
Honorable member, there was still another amendment by Honorable, not amendment, new clause by Honorable Moses Kuria, 14B. That is also disallowed in line with the Speaker's communication as per Article 114 of the Constitution and Standing Order 1335. 5.
New clause 28A.
Honorable members, there are two amendments here. One is by the finance planning, and there is another one by Honorable Moses Kuria. The one by Honorable Moses Kuria is as well disallowed, in line to Article 114 of the Constitution and Standing Order 133.5. The one of the chairperson, Finance 28A, which has been circulated. Honorable Chair, if you could move to second reading. New clause 28A.
Yeah. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 28A be now read the second time. The purpose of this, Honorable Chair, is to align the amendments which were done in 2019 Finance Bill to agreeable position where both the National Treasury, the insurance, and the stakeholders are agreeable, because currently they are actually trying to resolve it in court, and therefore, having received communication from the National Treasury, the position which is being carried here is agreeable and it is actionable. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I propose a question that new clause 28A be now read a second time. I will put the question that new clause 28A be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose a question that new clause 28A be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 28A be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Yes, what is it, Honorable Ishongwa?
Chair, you know, this new clause 28A was not part of the order paper, and therefore it's just been circulated, Honorable Speaker, and we never got an opportunity to really interrogate. And Honorable Speaker, if you carefully read this thing, is part of what His Excellency the President returned in the last finance bill.
Honorable Chair. I was actually informed that the members, this amendment had been circulated. Maybe you didn't have a copy yourself, but the House has made a decision. I'm sure there are mechanisms of revisiting. The Chair, that is the rule. That is the rule, unfortunately, and that's the procedure.
New clause 38.
Honorable members, new clause 38 had been proposed by Honorable Moses Kuria. That has been disallowed in line with the Speaker's earlier communication, in line with Article 114 of the Constitution.
Title.
Honorable members, I propose a question that the title be the title of the bill. There are no amendments to that. I therefore put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose a question that clause 1 be part of the bill. There is an amendment by Honorable Limo. Clause 1.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 1 be amended as per the order paper, and I want to also move some amendment to part B by adding as 8B just before 11A.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 1 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 1 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 1 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Members, congratulations, we are done with that bill. Mover.
Where is it? Just a minute.
Mover.
All right, Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2020, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Honorable members, I put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2020, and its approval thereof with amendment. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Honorable members, Madam Speaker.
Can we have the chairperson for reporting?
Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2020 and approved the same with amendments.
The mover to move agreement with the report? The mover, that's the chairperson.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2020, be now read a third time. I also request Honorable Ndirangu, the Vice Chair.
Order. We are not reading a third time. We are moving agreement with the reports, Chairperson.
Oh, sorry. You know, that's a bad thing with talking to the members who are interfering. So, Madam Speaker, consultations were too high here. Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
Yes, we are moving the agreement, the report, and here there's a recommittee.
All right, I've seen it. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request Honorable Ndirangu to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Yeah. Oh, is your second?
I second, Madam Speaker.
This member, you cannot just arise and second. The member for... Yes.
Madam Speaker.
Yes, now you can second. Did the chair request you to second?
Yeah, I beg.
Very well. Yeah, you must follow procedures.
I beg to second the agreement with the motion.
Then we have Honorable Ichungwa, who is moving a recommitter.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House be amended by inserting the words subject to recommittal of clauses, new clause 28A. I also request Honorable KJ behind me to second the motion. Honorable Speaker, the import of this, Honorable Speaker, as I mentioned during the committee of the third reading, is that we are saying that no insurer, if you read 156.1, that no insurer shall assume risk in Kenya in respect of insurance business unless and until premiums payable thereon is received by the insurer. The insurer in this case is the underwriter. Many of us, Honorable Speaker, transact our insurance business through intermediaries, be it brokers or agencies. The agent and the underwriter have contractual obligations between them, where the insurer is not part of the contractual agreements. Therefore, if you say when I pay for my insurance cover, be it my medical insurance cover, that I will not be covered until and unless the insurer, the underwriter, receives your money in a situation where you as the insured, you have no control to force the agency or the insurance broker to remit that money, it will be very dangerous for the insured people in this country, Honorable Speaker. It means tomorrow you will pay for your car premiums to your will not be covered until that money is received. This amendment, as it is, Honorable Speaker, is dangerous for the insured, and as people's representatives, we should be speaking for the insured, not for brokers and underwriters, Honorable Speaker, as much as many of them are here, Honorable Speaker, as underwriters and others as brokers. But I want to speak for the ordinary person who is the insured person. I want to protect the ordinary Kenyan who will pay their premiums, Honorable Speaker, and will have no control on how and when the broker or the agent remits the money. The insurer, the underwriter, and the broker or agency have their own contractual obligations, and they must have mechanisms to enforce payment of premiums. In the worst case scenario, Honorable Speaker, we should have a situation where if I am to be covered when the money is received, then we do away with the insurance brokerages and agencies, and we are told to pay directly to the underwriters. Honorable Speaker, I beg that you support this particular committee.
Who is supporting? Honorable Limo, you move your... Honorable Limo. Honorable Limo, can you give him the mic?
Yeah. Do I move?
Honorable Limo, are you seconding? Honorable Limo, you have you are not the second.
Madam Speaker.
Honorable Limo, you have a recommittal, but the recommittal for the Honorable Ichungwa has not been seconded. So can we have the seconder, who has proposed the Honorable KJ?
Madam Speaker, the issue has been very eloquently put out by Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, and Madam Speaker, I do stand to second.
I propose, Honorable Limo, before that, let me propose a question. I propose a question which is that the motion for agreement with the report of the committee of the whole house be amended by certain the words subject to recommittal of new clause 28A. That's from Honorable Junet, and members, we are procedurally, watching on time.
Chair,
Junet.
Chair, as much as the issue, Madam Speaker, as much as the issue has been put very well by Honorable Ichung'wah, but I don't think Honorable Ichung'wah should mislead the House, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the recommittal he's talking about, which is the 28A, he only read 1. He has not read 3 and 4. 3 says an intermediary shall, upon receipt of any premiums on behalf of an insurer, immediately remit the same to the insurer. And 4, it says an intermediary who contravenes subsection 3 shall be liable to refund the premium and pay a penalty equivalent to 20% of the unremitted premium to the client. These brokers you're talking about have been taken care of here, Honorable Ichung'wah.
Very well.
So, the only issue that I can agree with is the issue raised by the issue I was told by Honorable Millie that some Kenyans pay the premium installments. That one can be agreed between the insurer and the insurance. The person who's taking the insurance.
Very well, Honorable.
But Madam Speaker, this matter has been fully covered in this clause. Put the question, we put this down.
Very well, members. Honorable members, with that debate, I know we are not finishing this debate. I want to put the question to this, the House will take, and then the process, the other for Honorable Limo. I'm sure your recommittal will come the afternoon sitting, or as it will be stated in our order paper. I move to put the question, which is that the motion for agreement with the reports of the committee of the whole house be amended by inserting the words subject to recommittal of new clause 28A. As many as of this opinion say aye. As many as the court of opinion say nay. There is it. All the members, Honorable Limo, I know you also have a committee in the next stage. Because interest of time and the one procedures. All the members, the time, all the members, you know you have to follow our own procedures. First one, our own standing orders, and members, the time being 1:05 p.m. This House stands adjourned till this Tuesday, 23rd June 2020 at 2:30 p.m. I thank you all.